Hello and welcome to video 3 of me learning to play this Mandel Hurdy Gurdy, and it's proving quite a challenge, as I'm sure you've seen. Today I'm going to show you a few more things that I've learnt and show you my progress, talk about various things, so I hope you enjoy the video. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was the buying of the Hurdy Gurdy. Now there are very few instruments that are ready to go, ready to buy. The ones that are tend to be the Chinese ones, and although on eBay they look pretty attractive, they look like they could be really nice instruments, I actually haven't bought one myself. I was warned off, but from other people's experiences I've seen it's not a great idea to buy those because they are, I think, virtually unplayable without quite a lot of work being done to them, and even then they're not great. You're far better going on to somewhere like Hurdy Gurdy Marketplace, which is a Facebook group, reading through the comments on there, picking someone who's near to where you live in the world and ordering one. Now I got this from Robert Mandel in a fairly short space of time. He was really kind and made it for me, as I say, reasonably quickly. But some Hurdy Gurdys you might have to wait 2 or 3 years for, which is a horrible thing, isn't it? You're desperate to get on with something and then you find out you've got to wait all this time. But if you watch Hurdy Gurdy Marketplace, you will see instruments come up second hand, but they're not cheap. And this is a very reasonably priced instrument, this Robert Mandel Symphonia, and for me it's perfect as a complete beginner. In a few years' time I might progress to one of Robert's higher end models, but for the time being this is perfect for me. One thing I do want to say to you is when you're learning any instrument is to have fun. You know, there's a terrible tendency to be afraid of the thing when you get it, especially this thing. When I first got it, I was sort of treating it, you know, like it was some kind of terrifying thing. I sort of sat and looked at it and almost didn't want to pick it up. I was so afraid of it, which is ridiculous. You know, it's a musical instrument. You make notes on it, have fun with the thing. Don't get too uptight about it. And if you get a bad day of practicing, put it down, come back the next day, and I'm sure you'll find things are a lot better. One thing I didn't really show you in any detail were the tangents, and if you're not sure what they are, well, let's have a look. I've taken the lid off, as you can see, and the tangents are these black, I think they're pieces of plastic, and basically as you push the keys in, the tangent touches the string to get the correct pitch. So if I press a few of them, you can see the tangent goes in and drops back. I don't know whether the light's picking up. The string is where my finger is, so about there. So you see the tangent comes up, hits the string, and obviously as you get nearer to the bridge, which is here, then obviously the distance between the bridge and where the tangent strikes the string is shorter and the pitch goes up. And notice how the tangents get closer together as you go up, just like a guitar. If I show you a special guitar I've got, this will explain it a lot better. So what I've got here is a 1-string guitar. It was a 3-string guitar when I first got it, but it was faulty. Because there was so much wrong with it, the guy on eBay who sold it to me very kindly said, well, I'll refund you and you can keep it, rather than bothering to send it back. So I took 2 of the strings off, left one on for slide playing. The action's very high, as you can see, the strings, you know, quite a long way above the fretboard, so I use it for bottleneck or slide using one of these things. And it's a great way to show you how the Hurdy Gurdy tangent works. The Hurdy Gurdy's got 1 melody string, just like this. This guitar has got frets, but I don't use them because I don't press the string down onto the frets. I use this slide. So if I just play the string, see, I'm playing it with the plectrum. I've tuned it down to G. It's actually the octave below the G melody string on my Hurdy Gurdy. So as I place my slide on the string, as I get nearer the bridge, you can hear the pitch of the string is going up because the operating length of the string is getting shorter. And if you look at the guitar, although I'm not using the frets, you'll notice how the fret spaces are quite wide apart down here, but closer together up here. And that's the way it is with the tangents of the Hurdy Gurdy. They're closer together as you get nearer the bridge. The reason for that is because of Pythagoras' law. Basically, the string, there it is, that's the string operating along its complete length. If I split that string in half, come up to the 12th fret, I've got an octave higher than the open string. And so the distance between the nut and where my slide is and where my slide is and the bridge is exactly the same. And if you split that again, you see you've got a tiny operating length now for another octave. So it halves and halves and halves again. So if you apply that theory across the fret spacing, that's why you have different spaces. There is some very complicated maths. I won't bore you with that now, but just to say that's how it works, and that's why the frets are closer together as you go up, and that's why on the hurdy-gurdy the tangents get closer. Let's come back to the hurdy-gurdy. So excuse the wobbly camera work here, I've just got the camera in my hand just to show you, and you can see it as I push the key in here. This is one of the sharp notes. As I push the key in, the tangent strikes the string, and that's just like me putting my slide down on my string, or putting my finger on a normal guitar string at a specific place. And as you come up, of course, the operating length of the string gets shorter and the notes get higher pitched. And you'll notice that the tangent has a screw in it. Now you see the screw here in my thumb is, you can undo that screw and you can make the angle different with the tangent. So if I undo this screw here, I can turn the tangent slightly to get a slightly different note. If you look up here, some of these are at different angles. Can you see how the angle is not always straight onto the string? This one here is at a slight angle to get a specific note. So you can retune to a certain extent yourself the individual notes. And look how crowded they are here. Keys are pretty big down this end, aren't they? As we come up, they get quite crowded. We don't tend to play these very, very high notes, but see how the keys have got to be smaller there to cram them all in. So the tangents are these pieces of plastic that strike the string in a specific place, and rather than me plucking the string with my thumb or a plectrum, the wheel does that job for me. It bows the string. I've created some annotated photographs of my instrument, and as you can see, this one here shows the tangents very clearly. So I've labelled all the notes so you can see what notes you get on this instrument. This F here I put an asterisk on because you can have it as F or F sharp, whatever you want. And this is the nut here, just like you have a nut on a guitar. And obviously if you don't press any of the keys in, then you get the note G if you've tuned the string correctly to G, all the way out to this really high pitched G here. So you've got a couple of octaves of scale. Obviously this photograph is from the perspective of the player, so this is what you would see if you played with the lid off, if you're sitting and playing this instrument. On this photograph we're seeing the front of the instrument, so the part you can't really see as the player, and I've labelled all the keys from this low G sharp to this high G. Pitch is getting higher right to left, and the tangents can be seen further back. Here they are. I'll make these photos available on my website. I'm going to make a special hurdy-gurdy section on my website, so you'll be able to find those and download them from there. And I've also given them to Robert so he can use them to show his customers. I'll also make this chart available, the range of notes on the Robert Mandel Symphonia Hurdy Gurdy, lowest pitch to highest pitch notes playable on the melody string, 2-octave range. Please note the range is almost completely chromatic apart from the missing top F sharp, so you can get every single note in Western music apart from that top F sharp, and you can get that as well if you sacrifice your top F. Where it says upper, that refers to the upper row of keys from the perspective of the player. That's mainly the sharps. Lower refers to the 13 lower keys, which are the kind of white notes on the piano. The number relates to the key, lowest being number 1. I've labelled every note with its name, what key you press, and the actual pitch as it is on the treble clef. Okay, so it goes all the way up to this top G, which is on the 4th ledger line above the stave. So it goes pretty high, doesn't it? Like I say, we tend not to play these last few notes here. Most of your work is done in the lower register of the instrument. And like I say, I'll make this available on my hurdy-gurdy page. Just give me a few days and I'll be doing that. So what have I been learning in terms of playing since I saw you last? Well, I've been learning to use the sharp keys, the upper row of keys, with that tune Painted Black, which you may know is the old Rolling Stones hit from the 60s. And I've played that tune on so many instruments because it's just a great tune to play, an interesting tune. The two tunes that I've learned already, Medieval Christmas, well, just an excerpt from it, I was playing that as well. Then I went on to Halsey Carroll. Both those tunes only use the lower row this row along here, the white keys of the piano, but we painted black because it's in C minor. I had to come up onto this upper row here. If we have a look at the music of Painted Black. So here we are, Painted Black, Hurdy Gurdy by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. And it says Coupe 1 on the beat, Coupe 3 off the beat. I'm not sure I did that all the way through when I played it. I was too worried about actually playing the right note. I'll talk about the couping in a minute. So these three flats, B flat, E flat and A flat, means that you could be in C minor or you could be in E flat major, but you're actually in C minor. And as such, you've got to get the E flat here on the upper row, okay, which is that note there, okay. In the upper part of the tune, we've got the note of B flat there. So we have an E flat and a B flat. But it's quite a strange tune because we've got all these natural B's and A's here. So it could be a modal thing. I don't want to get into that. Just to say that I've been using some keys on the upper row and I found it a little bit tricky at first. A couple of new techniques I was learning there. One was vibrato. In the second section, when I get to the end of the first bit, I go. You can probably see me pushing and letting go and pushing and letting go. Getting that vibrato. I'm not very good at it at the moment, but that's... So it's like finger vibrato on a cello or a violin or a guitar. And the other thing I did was a little trill, which I didn't execute very well, but have a look at that on the music. I basically keep my second finger on this G here and just, you see the trill has got a sharp above it, so I'm playing that G sharp there, or if you like A flat. So we are actually playing an A flat, aren't we? And just keep your finger on the lower note and just keep pressing and taking off this note above, semitone above. It's all pretty crude at the moment, and like I often say, if you're an experienced player and you're watching this, you're probably cringing, but you know, you've got to start somewhere. So a couple of new bits of technique there. It's this disassociation between the crank and the left hand. You just got to keep the crank going no matter what happens. It's difficult. I did try and do some couping in that. At the top I said coupe 1 on the beat, coupe 3 off the beat. So coupe 1 is at the top here. I think this is the one where the crank is just going past the kind of 12 o'clock position, or the handle is anyway, and you just snatch at it with your thumb. I think, again, no expert on this, but don't take this as gospel. Watch some people who know what they're doing. Keep my arm like the piston, not bend it to not bend my hand out, so the whole thing should be doing this. And it's hard to remember that while you're trying to play the right notes with the other hand. So I think that's coupe 1. You've got to hold it loosely, okay? Coupe 3 is at the 6 o'clock position, just past it. It's what people call the hitchhiker. Where you bring your thumb up. I know you don't have to do that, but I find it's quite a good thing to remember. So it gives you 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, to be honest, I don't do an awful lot with my hand. I kind of feel it, give it an extra jerk where I need it, and it seems to work. Now the other thing I was doing with the tune, and I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to or not, but I like coming back to that open G, like. Keep coming back to open G. Not sure whether you're supposed to do that, but I'm doing it and I quite like it. So I then decided to go back to my first tune that I played, the Medieval Christmas, which is a little tune I wrote many years ago on the guitar, and I only play the first bit of it. And if I show you the music for that, I'm using this piece to try and improve my couping technique. And it says 2 crank revolutions per bar. And I say, please don't take this as gospel. I'm no expert. This is just what I've put together myself. So this is, if this is wrong, then somebody is bound to tell me, and I'll put that right in my next video. But the rhythm that I'm trying to create here is this. Now what I think I'm doing there is coupe 1, coupe 4, coupe 1, coupe 3. So coupe 1 is just beyond the 12 o'clock. Coupe 4 I think is the one where the handle is nearest to you. If that's 12, that's 6, that's kind of 9 o'clock. This is the one where you push with that back of your hand there. So it's pretty close to 1. So da-da, that is coupe 4 going back to coupe 1 on the 3rd note here. And then on the 4th beat of the bar, I say 4th beat, I've done it in 2-2, but technically it's the same as 4-4 really, just 2 groups of 2. This F note here, I'm playing coupe 3 down at the 6 o'clock position. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. And notice the way I do my music with these positions, pos +1. I call this position +1 because position home I call having the little finger on the root note, on the C. So if I come up 1 from that, finger 3 goes on the E, finger 4 on the D, finger 3 on the E, finger 2 on the F sharp, and finger 1 on the G. So I start in pos +1. And then bar 3 and bar 4, they're in position home. So I come down 1 position. So the little finger plays the C. See? Back to position +1. And then back to position home for the end. So basically I'm in 2 positions. So I'm here. That's position +1 then. That's what I call position home. This is not normal for hurdy-gurdy music, it's just something I've come up with based on what I do for the melodeon. So the thing to remember with the keys, the melody keys, is it's kind of back to front from a piano. When you play a piano, the white keys are nearer to you than the black keys, aren't they? But here, when you play this instrument, the black keys, if you like, the notes that give you the black notes of the piano, they are nearer to you than the white keys. They're further away, so it's kind of back to front. So there we are, video 3. I've had the instrument a couple of months now and I'm making slow progress. I'm a very busy musician. I don't just play the hurdy-gurdy. I generate lots of lessons on loads of other instruments. So, if I dedicated probably an hour to it every day, I'd be a bit further down the road than I am, but I'm making slow progress. Like I've said before, my age is against me because I'm obviously not in the first flash of youth here. But anyway, I'm loving it, really enjoying it. If you spot any mistakes I'm making, you experienced hurdy-gurdyists, please do get in touch and tell me. But for the moment, I shall plough on in my own sweet way. So when I make some more improvements and when I make some more discoveries, I will record another video. So there we are. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll see me in my next video.